It was the Knicks moment
Yeah.
this past week. What a performance from that team. What a performance from Jalen Brunson. I know it's going to stick in Mavs fans' craw for a long time, but that time is come and gone, and it's over with. And he has grown and grown and grown in leaps and bounds throughout his entire career into one of the true clutch time assassins in all of the NBA. He was ridiculous down the stretch of these games, and as were the Knicks as a team, to be able to, 28%, I think, of the entire series they led. The Spurs led 72% of this series.
It's insane.
And lost in 5 games.
Yeah, there's an alternate reality where the Spurs win this series 4-1.
Easily, yes.
It could have been a sweep either direction, like if we're being totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the history books will say that this was a Knicks dominated the series because it ended in 5 games in a gentleman's sweep. But anyone who watched it was the same story every single game.
It's surreal.
Spurs take a double-digit lead and then just absolutely forget how to play basketball in the fourth quarter. De'Aaron Fox has shouldered or had to carry a lot of the blame after Game 4 and the layup where he could have dribbled it out. But he was truly he was an X factor in the worst ways for the Spurs in this entire series. It wasn't just Game 4, it wasn't even just Game 5. From a field goal percentage standpoint, you're the guy that they had hoped to lean on because he was one of the more veteran players, ball-dominant players, the guy you need to turn to in these moments. He shot 36% in the NBA Finals, down from 49% in the regular season.
And just careless turnovers.
It was careless turnovers. It was shot selection. It just, the whole entire last 2 games of the series said to me, the ball needs to be in Dylan Harper's hands or Steph Castle's hands or Wemby's and let them run it, because Fox became unreliable in those moments. And I'm not going to say he lost them the series, but he certainly did not help them even come close to winning it.
It's funny because he did hit the biggest shot of Game 3. So, it wasn't a complete loss, but for what you expected out of him, because again, you're talking veteran presence. Most of the starting lineups 25 or under. He's 28. So if he's the veteran presence, it's like he can see 25 from where he is. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you have the experience that the Knicks had coming into this. There were 2 moments that kind of went viral over the weekend. First of all, end of Game 4, when you have the Nat audio of the Spurs players not knowing anything about what's going on before the final possession. But the other one that went viral, just to kind of point out what you were saying, Coach Mike Brown kind of talking about De'Aaron Fox's issues in Sacramento when Brown was the head coach there. And then I think either Brown was let go pretty much soon after that or something on those lines, but that led to his dismissal. Yes, just because he didn't side with the player or threw the player under the bus or whatnot. And then to kind of have that cycle back in vindication in this way was kind of fascinating. And that was its own little micro storyline going on through this whole thing. But no, when we bring all of this up, the thing that stuck out to me too, that we didn't get into yesterday on the Sunday version of the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, the missed free throws were kind of baffling. And just, I'm trying to remember in recent NBA history when a game was decided by a superstar's missed free throws. When you have your guy, great free throw shooter, at the line with a chance to stave off the biggest comeback in NBA history with a pair of clutch free throws, and he missed them both. And then he went 1 for 1 last night in a similar situation. You're sitting there thinking, and Harper went 0 for 2 too with a chance to try and claw back into the lead. It didn't matter. The Knicks missed their own. It didn't matter who was at the line. Everyone was missing.
They crumbled under pressure.
Yeah.
The Spurs did in all the games. And I don't know if it was nerves, youth, and experience, but a lot of these Knicks players hadn't been to the finals. They played a lot of basketball. They're older.
Yeah.
But still, they hadn't been in these moments. It just felt like anytime the Spurs needed to, make a clutch shot, make a clutch free throw, possess the ball, make a smart play, they just never did it. And again, I realize it sounds like hyperbole. Of course you got to make the winning plays to win the game, but they just never did. And the Knicks did every single time. If it was offensive rebounds, if it was forcing steals, if it was drawing offensive fouls, if it was Game 4, the way that ended is a perfect symbolization of the entire series.
Yeah.
There was a play to be made, the tip-in, and the Knicks got it. And that really was the entire series encompassed.
To be fair, though, like as much as I wanted the Spurs to win, I covered that area. I've liked a lot of that team for a while. I'm happy that Game 4 comeback is now emblematic and not something that's kind of lost in the annals of time on just another Knicks collapse after they lose.
It would have been so funny if they collapsed. Because Mariska Hargitay is running around saying, "We did it." I'm like, there's still one more. You still got one more to go.
I was going to say. But also the other surprising thing was like that crowd was 60% Knicks fans in Game 5.
Yeah.
That was stunning
because they could actually afford them.
Seriously,
that
might
it was
have been part of
cheaper to fly to San Antonio and buy a ticket than it would have been to buy a ticket at Madison Square Garden.
I'm sure it was, but the Spurs put on an entire push to sit there and say, don't sell your tickets, we're checking where you're buying it from, all that kind of stuff. And it didn't matter. Like that is kind of part and parcel with what we've been saying, though, in terms of the Knicks like fan base outreach. Obviously, they've got the big stars, but this is one of the biggest brands in the country. And it is surreal to think of it in a winning way, because for most of us, for all of our lives practically, they've been like not necessarily bottom feeders, but just the perennial Charlie Brown pull the football out, they're going to find a way to lose the game. And it was wild that the entire opposite narrative ended up transpiring.
Charles Barkley's favorite fan and Knicks fan was in attendance. There were a lot of Knicks fans that came out to watch the game, and they all get to go home very, very happy with a team that, when we talked about this leading into the series, I think we talked about it in the sense of like, oh, is this the start of the Spurs dynasty? And we even kind of made the joke like, well, if the Knicks win, I can't imagine we're going to be talking about it that way. But when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, now obviously who knows what the Pacers look like once Tyrese Halliburton is back healthy. That's a wild card in all of this. But is there a possibility that at the very least we see the Knicks be the East representative for a little while here? Like, who else beside the Pacers would be maybe the Celtics?
The 76ers, if Joel ever actually delivers in the playoffs. Like, that's part of it.
That's a gigantic if.
Hey, man, we didn't think the Knicks would win a title in our lifetimes, and here we are. So anything can happen in the NBA.
Sure, but the Knicks have somebody in Brunson that does come up clutch late in games, and we did know that even before this stretch. It was certainly hammered home during this stretch, but that was a known commodity in terms of who he was as a player. The Sixers don't know. Maybe Tyrese Maxey could morph into that person as he takes on more of a role for them, but Embiid has kind of shown that that's really not who he is.
I think to Jonah's point and how we've kind of been analyzing the NBA, we're in a rare moment of parity where we keep anticipating the next dynasty. Oh, it's this team's going to rattle off 3 or 4. And it's like, that might not happen for a while. A lot of these...
We've gone 8 straight years now with different champions.
We love projecting the next Hall of Famer, the next dynasty. I don't know what it is with us as a species that we love to do that as sports fans, but we really are obsessed with it. And I don't know... like when that switch was flipped, or because it's been so prevalent throughout our entire childhood. Like there was the Bulls dynasty and the Lakers dynasty and the Warriors dynasty and LeBron winning a bajillion championships. And I just don't know where along that entire stretch we just kind of lost the plot, and we're just obsessed with who's going to win for the next 10 years as opposed to like who's winning right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to just enjoy the parity. Because that's what it is right now, but history has shown that might not necessarily be the case, and the next dynasty is coming. It's just a matter of who.
I know Mavs fans, and obviously the people that knew about Brunson and what he was capable of knew this was possible, but 45 in a closeout game when a couple years back Giannis had an all-time performance in 50. Trying to imagine someone like Brunson doing that and basically turning himself into an immortal player, because he will live forever in New York history at a minimum, and that's half the battle when it comes to the NBA. For someone to be of his stature, be a second-round pick, and develop into this, that is the modern NBA. Jokic is the same way, but he had a big, he showcased the talent. I find it fascinating that all of these guys now, it's not necessarily Wemby as the number 1 overall pick that will have final say. It can be someone that you draft and develop and build up the right way.